Okay, so it's Jackie here, and I thought today I might do a little tag tutorial. Very rusty. I'd got this prepared many months ago and then, you know, life took a turn, but there you go. So we're going to do this today. It's a little wrap, a tag in a wrap, a very simple project really. Just opens up like this, and obviously there's room for a little bit of ephemera in there. So this is quite stiff. I've put it all over thin card because I wanted this as a standalone thing. If you just used paper or digitals, you could make it thinner for a journal. So to start with, we have got a piece of card, 8 1/4 by 5 3/4, and it needs to be covered in book page. So I've used this is from a typewriting manual, and I've got these prepared. The tag is 6 1/2 by 3 1/2, and that's covered on both sides as well with the same paper. If you haven't seen me do this before, I will demonstrate. So obviously if you've seen this, you just need to speed through this video. I'm not sure obviously how many minutes quite at the moment, but a little way along. So I just use glue stick and I cover my card. Tend to do the edges first. Could use something like Mod Podge, I guess, but it's a bit of a wet glue. It tends to warp the card and the paper more than glue stick does. So let's go one side, just lining that up. Just using a bone folder to make sure we've got no air bubbles or anything like that. And then before I stick the paper on the other side, obviously I'd cut this off. Use a craft knife or scissors. So that's that, and then you do the same, put your glue on this side and cover the other side, and then you need to wait for this. Although it's a dryish glue, you do need to wait for it to dry before you do your scoring and folding. So we will get onto the next bit. Sorry, I have to have a quick look at my little notes because I can't really remember. So this is the piece that's dry that I've got prepared, and I'm going to score this at 2 1/4 and 5 7/8. And just think which way up I want it. Uh, 2 1/4. Yeah, I want that to be the front. So 2 1/4 and 5 7/8. Because of the way I want it to fold, I'm actually going to do this on this side as well. And it's quite a thick piece of card, so it doesn't make much difference. Is slightly off, and that bothers me a little bit, so I'm just going to ease that fold. There we go. So that's our basic wrap, that piece there. Okay. This piece is 2 3/8, and this piece is 2 1/4. So this is slightly larger, which is fine. So then we want an image. Any image will do, and this needs to be 1 3/4 by 5. Going up for my where have I put it? Oh. How can you lose? How can you lose a mini cutter? I seem to have managed it. So let's do it on the big one. 1 3/4 by 5. That's fine. And we're going to mat that on some cream paper. And when I say mat, I just mean leave a little border around it. Just gluing the middle of that just so that it tacks it down. And then I will use the craft knife to, I don't know if you could hear my stomach rumbling then, it was quite loud. Sorry, that just went off a little bit. So that's our image. And I'm going to zigzag stitch round there in a moment on my sewing machine. This is going to go on the front, but I want a tab for on here. So what should we use for the tab? Sorry, I'm trying to decide whether to have a plain one or I think I'll go for a Edith Holden. So that's going to go on the front here. And I'm using some art glitter glue. So I'm going to zigzag stitch round here, around the edge of my image, and I'm going to straight stitch around the whole outside of this piece, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I've done the stitching from the right side, and I just like to flatten these down. I don't remember who I learned that from originally. I think it might have been Carol Parker, but it was many years ago. It seems like many years ago. And then we need to pop our image on the front here. So I'm just going to do that with the art glitter glue. A little bit around the edge. A little bit of the middle. Try try and get this straight, even though our typing isn't straight, but that wasn't straight in the original book, so I'm not too worried about that. So that's that. Now I need an eyelet. In fact, we need a couple of eyelets. And I have my trusty crocodile. That's our wrap done. We could put the ribbon on now. Just want to measure how long the ribbon is that I chose originally. Just bear with me a second. So it's 12. It's about 22 inches. So let's measure this off. 12. Measure it to 24. And I'm folding this through so that it's, I think it's about a third of it, around about a third of it. Yeah, fold it into thirds and then through. And then the longer end tie here at the front, wrap round and tie. So we need to do the tag. So this is our covered piece. I'm going to make this tag shaped, this bit. So I've just got a credit card here. Obviously an old one. I've done an image in the same way I did the other one. That's going to go on the front. Could dress this up a bit more if you wanted to. Probably not going to for this. Keep it fairly simple. So you could put the eyelet straight in the top, but I'm going to pop a tab on it just so that it kind of matches the cover a little bit. And then before I put the eyelet in, I'm going to put this pocket. Now the pocket is 3.5 by 2 3/4, and the image here is 2 3/4 by 4.5 matted onto the cream. I just want to tack this pocket in place on the back of my tag. That a few minutes to dry, and then I'm going to stitch around the edge of this tag, a straight stitch or a zigzag, whichever you prefer, and then I'll be back. Okay, so here's our finished little ephemera holder, tag and ephemera holder. Comes out like that, fits quite snugly. It's a little pocket on the back for your bits of ephemera. This is the original one that I'd done. And then I finished up the other one that I'd used as a demonstration, went down a different colourway with this one. The ends are a bit, so this is a flower fairy one. I used the nasturtium fairy, so dyed some seam binding to match the outfit. If you want to know how to do this, if you just type in crinkled seam binding on YouTube, there's lots of videos. And that's the tag. I used the same image, or a very similar image on there. So there we are, a little tag ephemera holder tutorial for you today. I hope you're all well. We're doing well here, so I'll see you all again soon.